Well, we just heard about the new WOTUS rule and the impact that can have. So what else can cattle producers do to help protect themselves? Joining us now is Colin Woodall, Chief Executive Officer of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. And Colin, first of all, can you please talk about NCBA's efforts over the years to fight WOTUS and why a strong membership base is so important?
When most people think about Waters of the United States or WOTUS, they think about the 2015 rule that was put in place by the Obama administration. But NCBA's engagement with WOTUS goes back to 2006 and some legislation that was introduced in Congress that first started this conversation. We were successful in shutting that legislation down, but it did serve as the basis for a lot of the components of the Obama WOTUS rule, which we are now seeing come back up with the Biden proposal and the changes that he has made. The reason why we need a strong base in Washington, D.C. and a strong base among our membership to fight WOTUS is because of the success we've had. As I mentioned, in 2006, we had legislation where we called our members to come to the forefront, engage in the action, call their members of Congress and tell them to shut that legislation down, and we did that. While, yes, the Obama administration was successful in getting their proposal brought forward, we were successful in beating it back and replacing it with something that was much more workable for those of us in agriculture. But here we are again, and once more, we're going to have to engage all NCBA members to come together to send a very clear message to Congress and the Biden administration that this new proposal, once again, is not workable for those of us in agriculture.
Are there some wins we had in 2022 that couldn't have been accomplished without NCBA having boots on the ground in Washington, D.C.?
You know, every single win that we had the past year was because we had boots on the ground in Washington, D.C. The world today has gotten very used to utilizing their cell phones, text, emails, virtual components of communication. But in Washington, D.C., that face-to-face interaction is still the way that town likes to operate. It's extremely important for us to be as effective as possible. It's amazing the number of issues that we have worked when you're walking on Capitol Hill and you just happen to run into a member of Congress or their staff. A quick 2 or 3 minute conversation can change the whole course of an issue. It's also important to remember that when you're up there every single day on Capitol Hill, going from office to office, you're building the relationships. And those relationships are always going to come in handy when it's time to call that member of Congress or their staff and ask them to vote one way or the other on a piece of legislation. If I were to call up a member of Congress and say, hey, Congressman, this is Colin Woodall, I'm with NCBA. NCBA is the oldest and largest national trade association representing cattle producers. We need you to vote yes on this or no on that. We're already done. We're toast, because you can't build that relationship quick enough to be able to get them to do something for you. What we need is the opportunity for me to pick up that phone call and say, hey, Congressman, it's Colin, need you to vote yes. And that's what NCBA is doing every single day up on Washington, D.C., building those relationships, making sure we know who to call, so that way we can call them, they can call us, and we can be the best advocate we can for our membership and our policy priorities.
Colin, as we look ahead, the Farm Bill will be an important topic for all of agriculture here in 2023. So how is NCBA involved in these discussions, and what's so important to have included in this legislation?
The current Farm Bill expires on September 30th of this year. So there's a lot of work to be done in a very short amount of time. And we know that both of the chairs, Chairman G.T. Thompson, the House Agriculture Committee, and Chairwoman Debbie Stabenow on the Senate Ag Committee, are committed to get this done and to put the effort in. This will be probably one of our top priorities for the year. It's probably the one piece of legislation that will get the most attention throughout 2023. For us, it's about several significant priorities. One is maintaining the foot and mouth disease, or FMD, vaccine bank that we were successful in including in the last Farm Bill. But we also want to make sure we're protecting some of the very popular programs like EQIP, and also ensuring that we can find a way to increase the risk management opportunities for cow-calf producers by working to expand and make the risk management agencies' programs that much more productive for our cow-calf producers who need a way to manage risk. And we're going to continue to look at what we can do to protect funding for research. Research dollars that are spent at USDA and land-grant universities have been extremely successful in helping us, one, improve the industry and protect the industry by keeping us safe from foreign animal diseases. So we will be looking to make sure that those research dollars are not rated for other priorities. And we will be reaching out to all NCBA members to have them engage in listening sessions throughout the year, as we know that both the Senate and House Ag committees will go out in the countryside and have field hearings to hear what's on the mind of producers.
We're going to kick off another cattle industry convention and NCBA trade show in just a couple of weeks. What's the mood of cattle producers who will be attending in New Orleans this year?
And to determine the mood, I think we look back at all of the state cattlemen's associations meetings that have taken place here over the past several months. I've had the opportunity to attend several, and I've got a few more to go before we make our way to New Orleans. And one of the things that has struck me across the country is the amount of optimism that is out there as they look at what's going on in the cattle markets, prices that are going up, as we look at a shift from a La Nina weather pattern to an El Nino weather pattern to help with the drought, especially in the South Central Plains, where Kansas and Oklahoma in particular continue to just be battered by this drought. And with a lot of the snow and the rain that we have seen in other parts of the country, there is that sense of optimism. And I do believe that that will translate into the optimism that we will see at producers and during the convention in New Orleans.
And finally, Colin, folks may not realize just how important this meeting is to the future direction of the beef industry. So please tell us about the business that actually goes on during the week.
Well, CattleCon is known for the fun that we bring to convention. And whether it's the food, whether it's the entertainment, the speakers, the trade show, people come to have fun, to enjoy themselves, to see their neighbors, see people they haven't seen probably since the last CattleCon. But you're right, it is an opportunity for us to do the business of the association. NCBA is a grassroots organization. In order for us to truly live up to what we are, we have to have that engagement by our members to give us as staff our marching orders on Capitol Hill and throughout the association. And that's why the engagement in our policy committee meetings is so important, where we're going to discuss, debate, and vote on policy positions that will have an impact on where NCBA stands on things such as the Farm Bill, WOTUS, and other topics. The board of directors will then also have the opportunity to vote on it. It will become the interim policy that we will exercise or execute in Washington, D.C. until we have the time to revisit it during the summer business meeting. We'll also have the opportunity to have a Washington, D.C. forum where we'll talk about the new Congress and how we're going to stand with the new leadership in the House of Representatives, and how both the House and Senate will come together to work on things such as the Farm Bill, and give everybody just an overall understanding of the challenges that we face in Washington, D.C. I think in order to truly be able to go back and have an appreciation for the work that NCBA does, you have to hear about those challenges, but more importantly, what NCBA is doing to step up, to face those challenges and beat those challenges back. And that's a big part of CattleCon.
All right, thanks a lot, Colin. Now, there's still time to make plans to attend the Cattle Industry Convention and NCBA Trade Show. It runs from February 1st through February 3rd in New Orleans. And you can get all the details, including how to register, at the website convention.ncba.org.